just means that you don't want to make sure that Mucci has that same kind of field day going into the mid to late game. But CY doing a lot of damage onto Wero here. It is paired up with Waypit into the mid lane, giving over a bit of support. But again, we're seeing that same kind of rodeo.
Yep. So it gives you a little bit of a preview of what the fight is going to be like later, right? So it depends on Senku's ability to be able to catch out the remaining members on the side of Nova. And CY actually is not the ideal person you want to catch because he's able to get out of CC abilities, right? The only thing that really stops him is suppression.
Yeah, the suppression coming through would have to be something of a god kind, but I feel like with Senko though, it's a little bit of a different playstyle from the Gunamo to the Princess Frost, right? Like your trick shot, the Frigid Prison is going to be a lot harder to land onto the side of Nova, and you've got to time it correctly, right? You don't want to be using it willy-nilly. You need to make sure you're trapping something like the Dion Way within the Frigid Prison, so he doesn't just leap in with the Leap of Fury and do so much true damage.
That's where the value of the Menki and the Dharma, as well as Lu coming in with the Sakia, matters so much, right? Because the three of them can actually, each of them individually set up situations where the Frigid Prison doesn't even need to be aimed, right? They are already stunned there.
They're already stunned. I mean, they also have the Winter is here as well, right? So that big AoE stun. The slow as well is able to set up nicely for those trick shots. But right now, we are seeing that Nova are just a little bit ahead of the gold. So the farming is a little bit faster on the side of Nova. But this could potentially be the unbridled outburst that we need here. Pushing away Lu is going to force the flash away for the side of KAGENDRA, which for the side of Sakia, it doesn't really matter. He can still fly into the brushes.
Okay, so this is a big moment for the side of Nova's Wendy, right? But Lanfeng did not expand his flash as well. So that is the winning marker. Wendy will only expand the flash after Lanfeng uses his own, right? Because then there's no escape available for the side of Lanfeng.
Yeah, they're kind of watching it with a Hawkeye. They're watching that common skill cut. Like, hey, is he dropped it yet? No, not quite. But we haven't really seen much action or brawling going up into the clash lane just yet. But they're both level well. We see that Hans is level 5 and Shuan is actually just ahead a bit with the level 6 going broadening into the level 7 at some point soon. But we are getting into the 3-minute and 34-second mark. So very soon, those neutral objectives will be up on the gorge. And I feel like we'll probably see a lot more brawling going on for these. But do you think it's going to be the same story for Nova as in game 1, where we see a lot more pressure and obsession go for the Tyrant?
I think they might have to contest, right? Tianwei under level doesn't do well, especially against a tanky reroll here on this Squirrel Bunny. And Lanfeng, like, nobody has died yet. So if everything goes status quo, it's actually not as easy to fight on either side here.
On either side now, but it looks like the neutral objectives are now up. We're seeing the teleport mechanic come through for Hans. It is now back into it, so we're going to see a little bit of a 5v5 here. The set sail does connect a little bit early on in that team fight, doing a lot of damage onto Hans, but it's not going to be able to set up a kill just yet. I feel like it's just a bit of a deterrent to a clean wipeout of that Tyrant.
They force a flash from Xuan. So Xuan now, his only viability is when he has set sail, of which is off on cooldown. So this is a very open neutral objective that KAGENDRA will happily oblige here. Hans, does he want to commit for the ultimate?
Yeah, I'm not too sure here just yet. It looks like he's going to... I mean, Shuan was taking a lot of damage from the T1 there as well, but also dealt a lot of damage to it. So they're going to make sure they give some TLC up into the clash lane. But we do see that Waypit has activated the Unbridled Outburst. He's in beast mode right now. So they've got to be careful that they've got a long time before that's back off the cooldown.
Yep, so the Firefly Brush here doing so much work for the side of KAGENDRA as well, right? Mucci, I think, doing okay, does expand the Frenzy to try and deal a huge amount of damage. But because of the existence of Lu on this Sakir, look, all that damage mitigated.
All the damage is mitigated. I'm just trying to check here where the strongest and biggest goal difference is within these lanes, and it's looking like it's very even in terms. It's only like a few hundred between lanes, so there's no kind of like clear dominance. But the dream roll does come through. I mean, the set sail kind of missed there, but what didn't miss is Mucci getting the kill on Sakir. So first blood is actually going to go over to Nova this time around. They may set up for another one here. Hans is on the death edge there, but it is going to be Shuan getting picked off there. The Winter is here, picks off the Sunset.
Okay, it's a big win to me for the side of KAGENDRA because they traded a roam for a clash lane, right? And here's what's happening as well. Lan Feng now has access into the top lane. He's going to be able to amplify his farm. We didn't manage to see a significant difference in terms of gold. We might see it now.
I mean, we might see it now. They were able to take the T1 down into the farm lane as well, so it's not like they're just staying in one lane. Lan Feng is making full use of this. He's got to be careful, though, because we do see both CY and Shuan there. We do see that the illegal mutant comes through. He's able to outplay the CY, but Shuan then comes through with a knock-up and taking the kill onto Lan Feng. So down is the farm lane for now.
Okay, so it's trades all over the place right now. If they get a kill on Hans, this is a big win for the side of Nova.
Oh, huge, right? I mean, they're already looking to approach that T1 and do some damage onto it there. So trying to open up that second side lane because they already have the farm lane open as well. But they got to make sure that they aren't able to get too much more real estate from the side of KAGENDRA too early. Because I think if they do open up that mid lane, it's going to be very difficult for KAGENDRA to come back in terms of gathering resources in safety.
Yep, if you take a look at the itemization, and they might not be in a good position here. So, slight advantage in terms of gold for Muchi, right? Simply because he was able to get the T1 at the bottom and get one wave. Because right after Lan Feng was eating the wave at the top, he got taken out by the side of Nova.
Yeah, we do see a bit of engage here from Lu and Lan Feng picking up the kill onto Shuan as well. Shuan is actually taking a lot of lives here. Is he going for the same strat as Senko? He doesn't seem as effective, but we are seeing Ihans into the mid lane. Winter is here, is freezing the CY. Is definitely where you want that Dion way to be. Is in place and all up in your face.
Yep, they're trying to pull the side of Muchi back as well. They're going to force that T2 down. This is a big move by the side of KAGENDRA, right? Not only does this get them a little bit more vision control on the top side of the map, this also opens up the neutral objective on that Shadow Overlord, which is going to come in the next 2 minutes. So at this point, Muchi needs to be really careful. KAGENDRA, they realize that, hey, there is a potential opening here. And after they deal with this loss of the T2 on the board, the next big move that KAGENDRA can do and should do is to try and find where Muchi is. If they can get a kill on the Muchi, this is going to be a big advantage for the next neutral objective.
Yeah, definitely a bigger picture play here for the side of KAGENDRA. They're not thinking of the smaller picture. Normally we see the puzzle pieces having to be put together for the bigger victory, but right now they've just got the bigger picture in mind. The Unbridled Outburst there does land onto Sakir, but no more. The Dream Roll is not going to connect onto anybody on the side of Nova, just mainly being used as a bit of a distraction and keeping the damage away from Wero for now. But there's something brewing here, Ken, in the mid lane, it seems.
Yeah, they have exhausted everything. It is Ihan's time, right? If he can get the perfect truth mantra at this point, Nova have no answer. But okay, time expired. All the ultimates are slowly coming up when he and Muchi do have the ultimates available.
They do have their ultimates available. Like, this is getting to one of those, like, where the pendulum starts to swing. It's now that point of the game, right? We're getting into the 10-minute mark. I think just one bad mistake, which we've seen over the past 2 days that happen. Sometimes we see teams overextend and then that's it. It's kind of like being punished by your opposition. But set sail is coming through here. Is it going to land? It does actually land onto the DRNG there, but it's not going to be the end of everything because there's nobody to take the engage. There's no minion wave to force the fight there for Nova Esports.
It's okay. They won already, right? Nova, that small little exchange of buying time, look at the damage that has been done to the top T2, right? So KAGENDRA, every time they commit to an exchange and engage like that, Nova win the map bit by bit.
Yeah, I think that's the one thing they've got to make sure that KAGENDRA realize, right, is the fact that they're trying to kind of pull the rug from under their feet, just like a little bit at a time, just making sure they don't notice. But KAGENDRA's doing the same thing. They're getting those little wins here. The T1 down into the mid lane does fall, but the Unbridled Outburst is very effective this time, landing onto 2 of the side of KAGENDRA, meaning both the farm lane is down as well as the support. Ihan's here in the brush. He's looking to use the Enlighten Mantra there, but it's just to kind of push away Muchi there. But right now, Muchi's trying to focus on the Shadow Tyrant, trying to get a bit more damage over to the side of his team. How did you feel that mid lane fight went? Is this kind of the beginning of the end here for KAGENDRA?
Yes, definitely. It swung the doors right open into the heart of KAGENDRA, right? Right now, Nova, I think what they want to do is to get one more kill for sure at this point. We're all going to have to use his Dream Roam to get out. But more importantly, they're going to start splitting all of their members across the map and put pressure on all 3 lanes. And the moment this T1 in the mid falls, it's going to be a horrendous situation for KAGENDRA because that opens up the doors for them, for the side of Nova to start exploring, taking the Crimson Golem buff and stuff. And here, Lanfeng might die if he overstays his welcome.
Yeah, because I mean, the one advantage they did have was that Clash Lane, right, having that wide open and just waiting for the Shadow Overlord to come into place. But now, the fact that they took the L in the mid lane, but it's going to be a little bit harder here. They're able to hold on to the T1 into the mid lane for now, but it looks like it's definitely brewing around the Overlord pit.
Yep, and Nova, they're not going for the Shadow Overlord, right? They still have the Primal Bond. So at this point, it's really about, can they find a freebie coming out from KAGENDRA? Anyone out of position? And Lanfeng, it's a risk. If he gets caught out now, there's no fight to be had. And that's exactly what's happening.
Yep, the Unbridled Outburst does come through. Leap of Fury as well. Not managing to actually wipe out Lanfeng. He's being used a bit of a bait, but it is going to be Zhang Fei that is able to dive back on and take out the marksman on the side of KAGENDRA, which is a lot of damage already gone for KAGENDRA for now. They're really relying on Ihans to make big plays, but CY is taken down. If they can try and just make this a bit of a neutralized play here, maybe they could go for the Overlord. But it's looking like Wiro is trying to commit a little bit more. Into the backline is Muchi. He does overstep. It is Lu picking up the kill, but the set sail does land, and Xuan is hitting like a truck, but the knockoff from Zakir, as well as a CC from Dharma, denies any kills for Nova in the mid lane.
That's why I love this Princess Frog pick, right? It's all about the counter initiation. You know, there is a set standard. The moment that ship comes through, Xuan is always going to be at the same place at the same time. All you need to do is to get the Frigid Prison down. So the countermeasure was very smart from the side of KAGENDRA. I like this pick. Take a moment to look at what happened here. Yes, legal immunity, but Muji was actually allowed that entry point. He was able to look for Lanfeng specifically, get out scot-free, didn't even tank a tower hit throughout the entire process here. And I think it's the exact same greed that Muji had, which allowed him to be taken out.
Yeah, unfortunately, it was just like, hey, I need to get these kills. I need to make sure I can take him off the cards, and then we can maybe, if we get a bit more wins on the board, a little bit more kills, we can then go forward and conquer. But the Overlord does go over to the side of KAGENDRA for now, so they need to make sure they make some waves with this.
Yeah, KAGENDRA, this is the best position that you can have against a team like Nova, right? I think Nova maybe is still struggling to kind of keep up of the fighting style of KAGENDRA. And this is, I'll be honest, a pleasant surprise for me. I love KAGENDRA, and if they can really take a 2-0 lead against, hang on,
oh, yes, there's a big setup here. The set sail does land onto Lanfeng, and his Ihans that get taken out as well, so there is no sort of secondary front line there for the side of KAGENDRA. It's all reliant on Wiro right now. We do see a 1-1 trade, though. Is CY being taken down? So plenty of times the jungler has been wiped out, but it is making sure that Nova is getting pushed away from this team fight because their Clash lane is looking like it's been fretted by the Vanguards.
Yep, this is where the Firefly Brush is going to be of absolute importance for the side of KAGENDRA, right? How fast can they heal up so they can put additional pressure onto the 3 lanes across on Nova's side? And looks like, okay, that's going to be really quick because Muchi is still alive. So they'll start working on to this Shadow Tyrant on the side of KAGENDRA.
Yeah, Muji's still alive, and he's built the Daybreaker as well, right? So he's going to start doing a lot more damage, and we're kind of starting to see that now, especially with that last fight in terms of the mid lane, where he's able to go straight to the back line very greedily, but take out Lanfeng. He's going to be able to do that a lot quicker unless we see some of the defensive items, which we normally see on a DRNG.
Okay, so right now Wei Pit has managed to rush his Rage here. Oh, they know that.
Oh no, that was a cut down moment for the side of KAGENDRA. Both the set sail and the Unbridled Outburst. That was the double whammy you did not want going into the 15-minute mark.
I mean, this is the dream scenario for Wei Pit, right? The moment you get your Unbridled Outburst charge, you get to use it, and you get a kill, and now the map is once again open up for Nova. So KAGENDRA making a couple of very small mistakes there. I think they didn't know that Nova knew that they were there, or at least Nova were taking a very calculated guess that, hey, the important members on the side of KAGENDRA, especially the tanky boy, Reroll, is ready for the take.
I mean, sometimes a shot in the dark is what you need in this fight, right? Especially when it's not quite going in your favor, but the she there, Wendy, just pulling in Senko, who's like, buddy, You're not in control of your own body. We're taking you down right now. Down goes the high ground turret for the side of KAGENDRA. So now the base is opened up, and this is definitely where KAGENDRA don't want to be in this game too, because it gets only harder and harder as you start to lose those high ground turrets, and the enemy team gets those enhanced minions.
Yeah, it's feels bad day, right? They did all the work, but the base is open, and again they get caught.
Yep, they do get caught. The Bright Lightburst is actually focused onto Li Bang, but he's able to get out of there thanks to the legal immunity. But it is going to be High Hans falling once more. We saw it in game one where he was being used as the scapegoat, but right now, I feel like the Dharma is detriment to this team fight going into the late game.
Yeah, it's not the ideal situation for the side of KAGENDRA, but Nova, this is exactly what they want, right? Freebies here, this is going to be the Shadow Overlord, and you can be rest assured, this Shadow Overlord definitely will result in one of the two lanes being taken down.
Yeah,
if not both.
If not both, yeah. It's nice to see, though, that both Lanfeng and Muji are playing very close in terms of the gold resources within their lanes. Like, both of them are over that 12k mark as well. So it's just showing that both of these players are at the same caliber, and it's not quite the easy matchup that Nova were probably thinking about. But right now, Nova definitely have the wearing the pants, right? They are ahead of the game. They have the minions here into the farm lane. They have the Vanguards rocking up in all three of the lanes as well. So it's going to take such a good defense on the side of KAGENDRA to make sure they're able to come out of this on the other side.
Yep, they didn't manage to sink the waves that well on the side of Nova. So this is going to be nullified. This attack is going to be nullified for now. But the Shadow Overlord is flying down on the top lane. This could be the opening that Nova have been looking for.
Could be the opening. They're still waiting for Wave Pit, just getting as much madness as possible to get the Unbridled Outburst as well. They do get a lot of damage onto Muji, but he has thankfully the Sage's Sanctuary. So even if they were able to wipe him down, I feel like it could have been a unlawful overstep there and could have been very punishing on the side of KAGENDRA. But right now, it's still playing that defensive measure. They still need to make sure those Vanguards are wiped out and no more high ground turrets are taken from the side of KAGENDRA.
I think it's a good idea, right? This practice of patience is really good. Hang on. I don't think it's in a very nice position. Lanfeng, they might not know. I think they caught a glimpse of the three members of Nova hiding in the brush there. That could have turned out really horrible for Lanfeng.
Oh, yeah. If he was going in blind, you'd be like, no, you're not walking out that one alive, unfortunately, buddy. But Nova's actually starting to get the push back. We see that Ihans is trying to get a bit of a macro play down into the farm lane, just trying to get more pressure onto the side of the Shadow Overlord. But this may be where the fight is all brewing up here. We did see Shi trying to bring in Wiro. Is he going to be able to make this out alive? He has no dream roll. Wiro stuck into the middle of it. You're in the jungle, baby, and you're going to die.
Yep, that's exactly why you have to be really conservative with your usage of your skills as well. KAGENDRA, they make a small error, and look, Nova now primed to be able to break into one of these lanes for sure.
Yes, I mean, it's down the Wiro as well. And again, both Ihans and Wiro are literally the lifeline for all of the other squishier heroes on the side of KAGENDRA, because as soon as they go down, Senko is wide open, as well as Lanfeng using the Splendor so early. I feel like that might have been a little bit of a mistake there for KAGENDRA, because now Nova have that incel.
Yeah, I mean, you can't really blame him. False error. Set Sail is going to start the fight here. They're looking for an opening. What can they get?
Yeah, the Winter Resist has been placed down just to kind of use as a bit of a zone-in potential here for the side of KAGENDRA. The minions in the mid lane, they are enhanced, but they are able to wipe them out. So still, Wiro is now back into the fight as well. It only seemed like a brief moment for me. I thought he was gone for quite some time, but the Splendor Unforced here there was actually wasted also.
I think at that moment, it was a good play, right? It was guaranteed death. If he got caught by the Silky Beauty, I think a lot of the members on the side of Nova were ready for the burst as well. And knowing at this situation where the Tempest Dragon is going to be out, I don't think it's a risk it's worth taking to eat that Silky Beauty and hope to survive the situation. KAGENDRA, right now, it's a lack of resources, right? They have to be really careful about the next move they have to take.
Yeah, Shuan is taking a bit of damage into the backline, but he is giving intel over to his teammates. It is going to be Shuan taken down, but it is the Sage's Sanctuary that comes back. A little bit of a bait there. We did see that the Unbridled Outburst did connect as well as the Set Sail, but it's the illegal immunity that keeps Lanfeng alive. But there's just so much health onto the Zhang Fei that it's just not enough. The damage from Lanfeng is just not going to be able to wipe it down. He's able to take down the Sunset though, but Mucci is rolling through the tourists that are the blue minions here and looking for a little bit of backdoor. He has the damage. He can do it. One man, one dream, taking the team to game 2.
This is not what I expected out of Nova, but a win is a win. And so they tie the series up 1-1. KAGENDRA once again caught blindsided, one of the specialties on the side of Nova, right? They forced them out of resources, they forced them to take unnecessary fights, and now they forced them back away from the base and take everything away.
Yeah, everything away from the side of Nova Esports there. We're seeing the casters on the live there. I thought we changed for a second, Ken. I was checking myself in the mirror. But no, good play for Nova towards the end there. But the fact that it took Mucci and the minions alone to actually try and get the victory there is definitely a telling tale, right?
Yeah, now for those of you confused, I'm actually Yasumiao, I'm on the left.
And I'm OSX. How's it going, guys?
Okay, well, jokes aside. I think this is a very impressive series by KAGENDRA, honestly. I think that the fact that, hey, we are in the second game of a second Tempest Dragon. How many Tempest Dragon games do we get out of Nova, man?
I mean, we would definitely, it's not what we was expecting. Tempest Dragon and Nova Esports are definitely not synonymous, right? This is something completely out of the ordinary. And the fact that it's now a 1-1 makes me feel, Kin, that we could be up to a best of 5 here. I mean, you are on the desk. I'm watching your words come out your mouth, but it's not quite matching what's coming out on the screen. But you are here, and it could be the first best of 5.
I mean, we're talking about actual true full-blown value here, right? And that's what I like to provide. So at this point, it looks like both KAGENDRA and Nova are providing full value of entertainment because it's really back and forth. Something that I did not expect when I came onto the desk today, right? We were expecting Nova to have a much stronger punch, but it's KAGENDRA who's punching above their weight today and actually bringing the game over to Nova. But that's exactly what we want to see.
Yeah, we was privy to it in the introduction as well, right? We were saying, look, KAGENDRA, this is the do or die. They need to make sure that the punches they are landing are hitting and hitting hard. And it's exactly what they did in game 1. Game 2 could have gone either way, but I felt like there was just kind of a little bit more control from Nova, especially going into that late game, was able to kind of just, especially with Wendy on the She, I feel like he was the ultimate control mage in this one.
Yeah, I feel like they were a little bit too jittery on the side of KAGENDRA, right? The early usage of Splendor, specifically, I think the usage of Splendor from the Princess Frost by Senku, I think that wasn't necessary. He could have healed back, right? But we don't know whether Mucci did have enough damage at that point to be able to kill off Senku with 2 hits, which is a possibility, right? But the one that Lu used, that one's definitely necessary because he definitely would have died. Look at the defensive capabilities coming in. CY just building the full tank. Xuan as well, actually going for a real hybrid, but more focused on getting as much value from the damage items as well. Starbreaker, Siegebreaker, and the Axe of Torment. And Waypit, I think he shows you what it is like to optimize the usage of your Unbridled Outburst, right? He never used it without waste.
Yeah, I mean, there was some better than the others, but they were all definitely kind of hitting to scratch, right? They needed to be at that point, which is what you were saying in the draft, right? They need to make sure they execute the Unbridled Outbursts to perfection, or else they will completely waste this huge utility going into these team fights. And I honestly think there's only 2 contenders on the side of Nova Esports for MVP, and I'm going to have to give it over to either Mucci or Waypit. Waypit with 0 deaths, but just the contribution he gave to his team, the 12 assists, was really the thing that I think made them have this victory, as well as the control mage that is Wendy there. But you can kind of see that that gold graph is not as confident as it should be for a top 3 team of KC 2024.
Yeah, definitely. I think there were moments of shakiness coming out from Nova, but let's take a look at who the MVP is. And yes, it is going to be Mucci, 4, 1, and 5, taking only 10% of the damage. The way that he worked out his target prio was so good because he was able to weave in and out, get the kills onto Lanfeng, and if not, late game, work his magic onto, you know, just shredding that squirrel slash, I don't know what, panda, right, that we were always having. I mean, it was a beautiful game by the side of Mucci as well.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, he even dictated the score for this game too, right? You saw his face card. It was 1-1. He knew this was coming the whole time. he is 10 steps ahead of KAGENDRA. So maybe we'll be seeing a bit of a clean sweep here for the side of Nova Esports, but just the second MVP of this game has to be Waypit. Just those beautiful unbridled outbursts with just to perfection, just setting up the team fight, what was needed. And when it was paired with the set sail towards the late game of this match, it was just a huge indication to where this team fight was actually going to go and how successful it's going to be for the side of Nova Esports.
Yes, Waypit was always saving his skills to be able to catch out Lanfeng. I think that was one of the main things why they won the fights so hard, right? At the other side, we have to give props. I really like this performance of Princess Frost by Senko.
Yep.
He did manage to get a few nice catches like this one. Unfortunately, there was not enough damage coming out because they did a really good job on the side of Nova, actually just stifling the amount of times Lanfeng was actually able to get a hit. But this moment, I think, was one that really defined the series because they were caught blindsided. And this game, won by Nova, is really through a sucker punch as well. Knockout out of nowhere because they were tunnel vision onto that final fight with the Tempest Dragon as well and forgot to defend the base.
Yeah, no, that being caught out behind the neutral objective pit there was probably the setup to the means towards the end for the side of Nova Esports, but I do have to give over to KAGENDRA. They are definitely not going down without a fight. And you can see all in these highlights, they are in this match to win it. And I don't blame them because if they don't win it, they're gone.
Yeah, I mean, we love to see the Indonesian region teams fight. So I want to see an even stronger draft coming in. There are plenty of heroes that can still achieve this effect as well. And as we go in, look, it feels like we're in a very long series, but it's just 2 games. So let's see if this series is going to go the distance, or now that Nova have finally gotten their hands on the first win, are they going to just steamroll KAGENDRA and get a 3-1 victory?
They may do. KAGENDRA may have taken too much of a morale blow there, but honestly, I feel like they shouldn't. They should be definitely keeping their heads high going into this game 3 because it's not like they were beaten sorely in this one. They were going blow for blow, and every match, every fight they were going for, they were getting something out of it. I just feel like maybe the early to mid-game map control just needs to be a little bit different and a little bit more better improved for the side of KAGENDRA going into this game 3, right?
Yeah, for sure. And I think, you know what? I have just reminded. So you kind of jinxed the production here.
I have, haven't I? I've jinxed it. I think they forgot to press the right button. They haven't clearly got our faces on the keyboard.
It's okay. So with that being said, I think this unexpectedly has become my favorite series of the tournament so far, right? I mean, this has always been about letting teams shine, finding their strides in the games as well. And KAGENDRA is proving this theory at its best.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But to be honest, looking at those drafts though, there was probably a little bit more at risk here for the side of Nova than KAGENDRA. I mean, yes, they lose picks like the Princess Frost and the Dharma as well, Ihans. I feel like didn't have as good as performance as he did on the Byron. It was less effective, but I feel like that's kind of what happens when you've got such a great CC on the side of Nova as well. Dharma doesn't get quite the enlightened mantras through and the truth mantras hit in the way that they should do when you've got somebody like Shi or Zhang Fei that's pushing you away with their CC moves, right?
Yeah, I think there's plenty more heroes still left to be explored, right? So I don't think KAGENDRA have been held to a standstill in terms of draft and hero pool as well. While KAGENDRA hasn't been given the opportunity to be put under stress where they had to really show the depth of their hero pool because, you know, IMP was a 3-0. But I think maybe today we could see a very different KAGENDRA because they're doing well. The picks might not have been the best or what they're known for, but they're doing well.